So DBU's MOOC is set up through a Blackboard product called Core Sites, and DBU's uses Blackboard for their normal online education, and I guess they have purchased the Core Sites, which is a way for Blackboard to support MOOCs. So you'll recognize this if you've ever seen a Blackboard course. You'll recognize some of the arrangement of things, but it does have a little slicker look than the normal Blackboard does. And so primarily what you'll use is this menu options on the left hand side. And so primarily you'll go to Learning Hub. Once you go to Learning Hub, you'll have all of the week's sessions listed here. And the course finished up last week, and so all of the options are here. But if I was on week 5, I couldn't see the weeks that came after that. And so what you would do is go to whatever week that you're on, and you would have 3 lectures. These lectures primarily will be video based. But before you get to the video lectures, you have your reading, and you're required or asked to read the particular chapters that are associated with the lectures for that week. So you have the actual chapters from the book of Matthew there, and they're linked. You see it as text or even audio, and so they just link out to the web. And then also this Robertson's word picture commentary. With If you're not familiar with biblical studies, commentaries provide kind of a verse by verse interpretation of a particular passage. Primarily, what they do is look at the original Greek and some of the translation issues and some of the wording of particular passages. And so that's what these are. And so this is linking out to a free resource, Robertson's Word Picture Commentary. It's actually a pretty good scholarly commentary, not bad, but it's just available online for free, kind of a public domain type source. But each week there was also optional readings, and for the most part these were free, available online. But there were a few cases that linked to a database option, and so I'll talk about that later when I give my critique of the DBU MOOC. And then there's also the study guide, which is basically the notes from the professor, and several questions for the weekly quiz would come from that study guide. But mostly you would go to the videos, and they were anywhere from 7 to 15 minutes long, and you would watch the video, and then you were given usually 2 discussion board questions to consider, and also a study question. These are a little bit more in depth that you would see later on when you went to the weekly quiz. So once you watch the lecture, normally the procedure would be you go back up to group discussions. And since there's over 1,000 people in this particular course, what they did is they separated us all into different groups. And my particular group was it was Matthew 12 discussion group. And so they were trying to instill more community, trying to get some relationships built up, kind of like you would have in a regular classroom. Still, it was a little bit probably hit and miss. I'm sure some groups were really active and had good discussions, and some just kind of went in and did their thing and didn't really have a whole lot of interaction. And so you would go to your particular week, and you would open up that week of discussion board questions, and then you would have the 2 options there. You only had to respond to one of the discussion board questions, and then you would open that up and access that particular one and then respond. And you would also be able to see other people in the course and some of their responses. And so that was the discussion board option. And then each week there would be a quiz. So the idea would be that you would have to complete the quiz in order to move on to the next week. I think that you had unlimited ability to to pass the quiz and complete the quiz and then move on to the next week. And so here are my grades. Actually, I was supposed to have 80 out of 100, I would imagine, but I didn't complete a quiz, didn't get to the last week. So you see my grades. I didn't always get a 90 or 100, and so some of the questions would come from the lectures, some would come from the study guide, some would come from the readings. And so it wasn't a bad assessment, but this was the only assessment that was found in this particular course, was only from the weekly quizzes.